Good morning. This video is for Watchtower's governing body, and it's in response to Geoffrey Jackson's video in which he justifies taking money from the poor and also justifies not spending his days on spiritual matters. Geoffrey, you quoted from Acts 6 and verse 2, in which the apostles said, "It's not right for us to neglect the word of God in order to deal with monetary matters." Now, you claim that you are modelled on that first century group, but there are no apostles anymore. There were only ever 12, and there's no apostolic succession. And if you want to claim that you are modelled after this group, you have to do what they did. That is, spend your days looking at scriptures and disseminating to people. Now, you have justified spending your days on organizational matters. I don't know how you twisted the scriptures to do that, but you did twist the scriptures. Now, you also correctly say, Geoffrey, that Paul was anxious to help the poor, and that was in Galatians 2 and verse 10. And you claim that Paul left the preaching work in order to collect money. But what was that money for? It was for the famine in Jerusalem. And do you really think that Paul wouldn't have preached along the way? And he soon went back to full-time preaching. Please don't use this as a justification for spending your time taking money from the poor. You also mention the widow's mite, Mark 12:43, where Jesus said she put in more than anyone else out of her want. You state Jesus didn't stop her. What you forget is that Jesus didn't ask her to put that money in the box. And do you really think that Jesus would have left her without food for that day? Of course he wouldn't. He had a box for the poor, and he would have used it for this widow as well as for other poor people. Now, you talk of poor people contributing to building kingdom halls, and you say that churches don't do this. They go in as a charitable act and build the churches themselves. Basically, you're saying that the churches have got it right and you have got it wrong. What you don't say is that these poor people are in danger of you selling their kingdom halls and pocketing the money. You don't give them their money back. You make a profit. You also say that you're doing relief work. But what is that relief work? You send volunteers in to build, and then you ask for insurance checks. It's unbelievably bad. Now, you claim that you have the money for these expensive building works of yours. But if you had the money, you wouldn't be asking for the money on the internet. In another video, Mark Sanderson said that the governing body are looking forward to helping the poor and other people when they get to heaven. Now, if you get to heaven, Mark, you won't be any different to what you are now. So if you want to help the poor, do it now. You have the resources. As Jesus said, sell your possessions and give to the poor. Don't take from the poor in order to build up your earthly possessions. Come quickly on to court cases. In Luke 12:58, Jesus said, when you go to court with your opponent, try to settle with him on the way. You have ignored Jesus' instructions. When young people take you to court, when I took you to court, you fought it tooth and nail all the way along the line. In my case, you hid essential facts. You defrauded me, you defrauded the courts. You can get away with it in human courts, but you will not get away with it in the heavenly courts. I will ask Jehovah God for justice, and he will give it to me, and you will be held accountable for what you did, not just to me, but to countless numbers of young people, dragging them through the courts when Jesus said, don't do it, and you've had to pay millions as a result. Now, remember that Zacchaeus in Luke 19 verse 8 made restitution for his crimes. Do the same. Now, I would like you please to stop drinking so much alcohol. 1 Timothy 3 verse 3 says that an elder cannot be given to a lot of wine. If you do, then you don't qualify to be elders, let alone governing bodies. There's no need for you to be drinking strong whiskey. Give it up, see how you get on, and if you struggle, then you're addicted to alcohol. So, in conclusion, I would like to quote what Jesus said in Revelation 3 and verse 17 about the Laodiceans. You say you are rich, which you are in material ways, but spiritually you are wretched and pitiably poor. I'll leave you with that. Please think about it, and please stop twisting the scriptures to suit what you want to believe.